All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. The name of the video is Rand Paul exposes Biden administration for wasting $1 trillion. Guys, what? $1 trillion? I'll be honest, I'm not that surprised. I figured it would be more.
Joe Biden's wild spending spree exposed
Let's see what he's
Senator
spending
Rand
on.
Paul's 10th annual Festivus report.
And we can go ahead and actually see what he's spending on, obviously, and then see if they're important.
Showing the more than $1 trillion in government waste. Making
Because
the list
waste
this
could
year,
be
of course, you
subjective.
got to have your
All right, so really quickly. Okay, so we have Iraqi Sesame Street, $20 million. Is that important? I mean, honestly, bro, kids have nothing to do with it. I'm not sure I'd still spend $20 million on it, right? I'm sure you could probably got that a little bit cheaper. That sounds like an overspend for no reason. Definitely help the kids. No complaints here. I have no issues with that. Pickleball, why are we spending money on sporting events, guys? That's going to be a no, okay? I'm not a fan of this here. Climate action, girl-centered climate action? What? Okay, no. Cat experiment. Not enough information, but I'm sure it's not that important. So no. All right. Border security in Paraguay, but not border security in the United States of America, Biden? I don't know, bro. That may be a stretch right there, bro. A drag show on ice. Okay, climate change focused drag cabaret show. What does these two things have to do with each other?
Sesame Street show in Iraq, a multi-million-dollar pickleball complex in Las Vegas, a drag cabaret show on ice, and of course, border security for ... Paraguay. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul joins us now.
Okay.
Senator, this is an annual list you do.
Like, guys, the only way the Paraguay thing would make all the sense in the world is if all the individuals that were coming from the southern border actually passed through there specifically, and we had the ability to kind of stop them at the source, if that was the case. But I need more information on that specifically.
You've got a lot of problems with government people, to quote Seinfeld further. How tough is it to target and find the entries on this list?
You know, I got a lot of problems with big spenders in both parties. And here's the thing, everywhere you look, you find more of this stuff. $1 trillion. That means we found a lot of waste. But it's everywhere. It's in all the big departments, in the Department of State. It's in NIH. It's in the National Science Foundation. And people wonder, why does it exist every year? We have this Department of Doge. Are they going to be able to get rid of it? Well, the only way to get rid of it is to spend less money. So if you give the National Science Foundation $4 billion one year, and then you increase it to $8 billion, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that you're going to get more waste, not less. This has been going on since the 70s, but it has exploded. But you have to be willing to cut spending for the overall department. NIH will have more waste if you give them more money.
Absolutely.
They spent $3 million studying what kids do when they look at ads for food on Facebook. So they had a whole bunch of kids look at ads for food on Facebook, and that was $3 million worth.
I'm not sure that's... See, listen, who is making up these prices and who's approving the prices? So when Trump says, listen, they're taking advantage of us, right? Yeah. They're just making up any price, and the government is basically just signing it off saying, yeah, it's fine. $3 million for a screw? Oh, yeah, I like that. That's a great price. I think we got a good deal. Bro, everyone is taking advantage of us. Everyone. Everyone.
I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars to drill holes into cats' head, spin them around rapidly, and study motion sickness. Sounds more like animal cruelty than it actually sounds like an experiment.
It does.
The list goes on and on.
And that's not to mention, I mean, you have stolen COVID relief funds, $8 million. One guy from Florida did it to buy an island. You mentioned the cat. The list does go on and on. But you also alluded to this, Senator. Do you think your tradition ends this year? In other words, is this the year that Doge eliminates the need for you to go through and make this list, because they've done it over the course of the intervening 365 days?
We'll see.
Ultimately, it takes Congress. Congress has to get rid of the spending. Doge can point out the spending problems, and the waste the same way I've been pointing it out.
Thank you. I have been waiting for someone to say this, and I'm glad that someone of note said this here. Listen, Doge is definitely going to go hard at exposing a lot of things, but if Congress, doesn't do anything about it, which they won't because they benefit from it, guys. All right? I mean, it would be great if Congress actually worked for the American people and not so much exclusively the corporate, let's say, donors that line their pockets on a regular basis. Like, I mean, if your salary is like $80,000, I want to know how exactly are you leaving Congress with like 20 million in your bank, right? Like, we have a couple of questions here, but I mean, if Congress won't do anything about it, then nothing is going to happen, guys, right? But if they actually did work for the American people, then something would immediately be done. Think about that for a second.
But the reason it's not eliminated is they don't have the votes to get rid of the spending. So I am very hopeful that Doge will draw attention to this the same way I've been drawing attention to it. But I'll give you an example. About a year ago, there was a chip spill, a bill to subsidize microchips, semiconductors in the United States. Well, in that bill, they doubled the size of the National Science Foundation. Now, the National Science Foundation is the one that's famous for doing a study on whether tequila or gin makes people more aggressive. So they fed fish.
It's gin. It's gin. I think I'm going to go ahead and say it's gin. I could be wrong, potentially. I'm not a tequila drinker or really a gin drinker. I just can only imagine. It's gin based off of the amount of times I've consumed it, at least.
Half of them tequila and the other half of the fish gin.
That's
and they
wild.
decided which made the fish more aggressive. That's the National Science Foundation. Most of the terrible, wasteful projects, the crazy stuff and experiments going on is National Science Foundation. In the chips bill, all the Democrats and half the Republicans voted to double the size of the National Science Foundation. So why is there more waste? Because the idiots in Congress keep giving them more money.
Mm-hmm. Well, it will be interesting to see again what happens when Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the White House.
Okay.
Very different from what we've experienced the last 96 hours in Congress. Will this waste go away? Will you be needed on Christmas Eve next year? We will see. Senator Rand Paul, enjoy the day and the week with your family, and we thank you.
All right, so guys, I've never heard of this here. So we have an annual Festivus report. I honestly, I like that. I like the idea of that. Anyone that can bring to the attention the amount of waste that we waste in the federal government, I love it. Do that. Do that more, bro. All right? Absolutely. But I do think that he's right here. The guy on the left is just hoping that the guy on the right didn't say anything crazy. I think was pretty obvious by looking at his face. Let's say that here. But I do think that the reality is that unless Congress wants to do something, there's nothing that actually could be done. They can basically stonewall Doge forever, right? That's just a reality here. It would be great if Congress itself, both sides of Congress, guys, keep this in mind here, has nothing to do with party affiliation at all. All right, so if both sides can actually come together and do what's not best for their pockets, then that'll be great. But for the American people, that'll be amazing. But we don't really have these type of individuals in Congress, guys, and that's my overall dilemma here, personally. But all right, listen, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. You guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. This is my lightsaber. Hey guys. You guys subscribe to the other channels, Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Oh, also, Mr. L. Boyd Discusses. Guys, check it out. And if you haven't heard it today, you're amazing.